Today, I'm going to show you how to invest £100 a month in stocks and shares using the platform Vanguard in the UK. Vanguard is a highly regarded platform due to its simplicity, meaning that you're easily able to understand the investments that you are making, alongside the fact that it usually has some of the lowest fees around. Today, I'm hoping that I can help out anyone new into the markets and really wanting to get started on their investing journey. So if you find this video valuable, please drop one of these, as it therefore identifies to any new viewers that this is a video worth watching. Firstly, you'll want to go to vanguard.co.uk and set up an account. When you do so, you're going to be approached with 4 different options. This is personal pension, stocks and shares ISA, junior ISA, and a general investment account. Now, pensions are very complicated and you're going to have to do more research on the matter, but basically you get tax relief on deposited money into the account. This money is then technically sheltered using that tax-free money, but on withdrawal, which has certain criteria, which you'll need to research yourself, on withdrawal from this account, you will be taxed. So it basically, you're allowed to invest tax-free money, but then when you obviously go to withdraw it, you will be taxed at the end. You've also got strict criteria in the fact that you're not going to be able to make very much withdrawals from this account, as it's a very difficult eligibility, such as reaching a certain age, obviously, to be eligible for this pension, or having significant health conditions that would allow this to happen. So again, that's a tough one, but you can deposit £40,000 a year as of obviously April 2023. Although you need to be quite careful here because this may change in the future, and this is a very complex instrument. Then you've got a stocks and shares ISA, which is a tax-free wrapper, meaning all money deposited in the account can be withdrawn at absolutely no tax cost to the investor. As of right now, you can deposit £20,000 a year, and again, that's tax-free. So you can deposit £20,000 in this year, and the next financial year you can also deposit more. So that works out quite well in your favor, and typically this is the most accessible approach that most investors take because of its simplicity and also its tax-free wrapper. Again, a junior ISA is a variant of this that you could use in that situation, but again, it requires that you've got to have a child under the age of 18, and it's to be noted that you can only deposit £9,000 a year as of right now, and the child at the age of 18 will have full access to the account. So personally, when I have children, I don't necessarily want to be building investments for them that they can access at the age of 18 unless it was designed to be disposable. I'd want to treat, or again, I'm going on a different topic here, but I'd want to create a good financial understanding, and perhaps I wouldn't want them to have access to that at just the age of 18, because I know as an 18-year-old, I would have blown that on alcohol very, very quickly. And then obviously you've got a general investment account. This is a taxable account that has no limit on deposits or withdrawals and easy access all around. But again, you're going to have tax liabilities if you're putting in significant sums of investments, and it may mean that you need to fill in self-assessment forms or speak to an accountant that will be able to help you out here. Now you'll want to be able to set up your account. So when you do this, you get to choose what investments you'd like to make. Now, typically, a lot of people suggest the LifeStrategy funds with Vanguard, and they are a very popular approach, although I personally don't like them. They have a very simple aspect, right? And this is great for a new investor because it means you can choose an immediate split. These percentages down the side is the amount of this fund invested in stocks and shares, or also referred to as equity, hence why it's called that. So the 80% equity fund, why LifeStrategy, is actually meaning that you've got 80% of this fund invested in stocks and shares, and the other 20% is invested in fixed income assets such as bonds. Now, this is, again, a good concept here and something that should not be ignored, and it could be a good strategy for yourself if you don't want to have to make manual allocations and adjust it as you need to. However, the issue I have with LifeStrategy funds is that they have a higher than average exposure to the UK markets, which adds additional risk. When the global markets, I want to have an exposure to that representation. So if America takes up 40% of the global markets, I want a 40% exposure to America. I don't want a higher than average exposure to the UK because, as I say, that adds additional risk. And what's to say that the UK is going to outperform? And I really feel that the only reason that the UK has that additional exposure is because obviously this is for UK residents to invest in. They've also got the target retirement funds, which allow you to obviously invest with a target in mind. So you may want to retire at the age of 2065. So as it approaches that date, it slowly adds in more bonds or more fixed income assets, lowers the volatility, which means that it won't go up or down as much in theory as you get closer to retirement, so then you can draw down. Another important phrase here to see is accumulation. Accumulation here is a very important one because it effectively means that any dividends or income received will be reinvested back into the value of the fund, and it will continue to potentially increase. So if there's a dividend, let's say of 20 pence, and the fund is £1, which is a very odd number, this would mean that the accumulated value of this fund would be £1.20, which means it's already reinvested with no stress. An advantage of the LifeStrategy fund, actually, compared to an investment I'm going to be talking about, which I personally prefer, is that the fund's currency is GBP, so you don't have any currency risk here, and that may be advantageous for the investor. Now, I personally prefer the likes of the FTSE All-World UCITS EFT. Now, this is also commonly known as the VWRL fund. Now, this invests globally, right? All of your investments is going to be domiciled and exposed to every aspect of the global stock market. Now, I prefer this as this means I don't have to manually, dedicate energy into investing. How much do I want in the US? How much do I want in the UK? How much do I want in Europe? I don't have to deal with that because it follows and tracks the global stock market. As I say, since it is invested in the global stock market, it means if there's a significant period of volatility or this drops by an extreme amount, you've likely got bigger concerns in the value of your investments, as you've probably got to prepare for the next upcoming apocalypse, and who knows what that would be like. Now, a more sophisticated investor may take the approach of choosing their own investments. They'll deposit the money into the account and go, I want a balance of these investments. They might decide, I want some money in the FTSE All-World, I'd like some money with a greater exposure to the emerging markets. And that's certainly possible with this platform, as you're easily able to click the invest button, continue on, and you're able to look at the next, obviously, investment that you'd like to make. Now, again, you have all of the options that I've shown before. You're able to choose your own funds, and it gives you the opportunity there if you wanted to hold some of the LifeStrategy fund, but you could also hold a fund that's dedicated, obviously, to Europe, in which you're able to go, okay, I like the prospects of Europe here, I'm going to put a bit of money in here. Or alternatively, you might prefer a high dividend fund where you could also invest your money into there. I can't personally comment on that. As I say, I like to keep things simple, and I invest just in the W or the V World, which is the All-World ETF, as I've been mentioning. Now, an investment, right, of £100 a month at the average annual return of the stock market over a 30-year period. Now, this is in the S&P 500, which is the largest 500 companies in the United States, but they're globally diverse. This annual average return over a 30-year period is 8% per year. Now, you always see these compound interest calculators, and these YouTubers or these creators, they always exaggerate it. They always mark up the interest rate or, increase the deposits to get a ridiculously sky-high figure, so they've got a clickbait thumbnail. I'm going to be realistic with you, right? A deposit of £100 a month is not going to give you a huge amount, but over time, it's going to be a lot larger than you anticipate. So an interest rate of 8%, which, don't forget, we need to factor in the time value of money here. So inflation is obviously sky high at the moment, but if we assume it's about 2 to 3% per year, we're going to have a lot of that eaten into, because it means money now is worth more than money later. And we're going to say an investment period of 40 years, which is certainly possible if you're my age, but again, you might be nearing retirement, and if that's the case, you're likely going to need to put more money into your investments in order to reach that retirement goal that you have in mind. I'm going to put £100 a month of a deposit monthly. The compound interval is once a year. Again, don't worry too much about that. That's just the way it works. And you would end up with a total amount of £322,000. So basically, you've deposited here £48,000 over a term of 40 years, and you'll end up with £300,000. Now, that is a significant return on investment. And I want to highlight here that if possible, if you're able to save and invest more money, you can see dramatic changes in the returns that you're able to achieve. Now, if you were to decide here that you wanted to invest £500 a month, which may not be possible for you as an individual, but if you strive to increase your income as much as possible and can make that, change, £500 a month is going to dramatically increase the future value. In fact, if we do this over a 40-year period, we're going to see a balance as high as £1.6 million. That is an extreme return on investment, but does require certainly a higher level of deposits over a more larger period of time. Now, if we're going to be more realistic, let's say we've got a period of 30 years and we're going to invest £250 a month, which I think is possible for many individuals. We can see here that you're going to be looking at roughly, again, £352,000. So time is key. That's the main thing. What you want to do is set up with Vanguard, get yourself that fund created, and have deposits automatically going each month, or a direct debit going each month to Vanguard, where they can purchase this same fund that you've pre-allocated and set up, so that for the longer term, you can generate value value as high as that. If you'd like to know how to make £10 a week in dividend income, then click the card at the top right of the video. If you found this video useful, again, please drop one of those. It does help out a lot. Thank you for watching. Have a fantastic day.